So you might know your element, right? You're a fire person or a wood person. But here's the secret. Your chart is never just one thing. It's this incredible mix of energies, and they don't just sit there. They're in a constant, dynamic dance with each other. Okay, let's get right into how these relationships actually work.
And this really leads to the most important question of all. Are the elements inside you helping each other out, or are they fighting for control? Seriously, understanding this dance is the key. It's why some people just light you up, and others leave you feeling drained. It's why some years feel easy, and others, well, they feel like you're climbing a mountain in flip-flops.
All right, first up, let's talk about the cycle of support. You might also hear this called the productive cycle. And really, this one is all about creation, about nourishment and growth. Just think of it like a cosmic chain of helping hands, where each element gives a boost to the next one in line.
It all kicks off with this one. Wood feeds fire. This is probably the easiest one to picture, right? You throw a log on a campfire and what happens? The flames get bigger, stronger. So in this relationship, wood is basically the nurturing parent, giving fire everything it needs to shine.
So, after the fire burns, what's left behind? Ash. And over a long, long time, that ash breaks down and becomes part of the soil. So you see, fire creates earth. The end product of one element literally becomes the foundation for the next. Let's keep following this chain.
And what do we find deep inside the Earth? We find ore, minerals, all those precious metals. The Earth is literally the womb that bears metal. It creates the perfect environment and provides all the raw materials for metal to form and take shape. It's a beautiful illustration of how one element gives birth to another.
Okay, now this next step can be a little less obvious at first. Metal enriches water. So imagine minerals from rocks and veins of ore dissolving into a stream. They don't just, get wet. They fundamentally change the water. They add trace elements, they add potency. Metal literally makes water more powerful, more vital.
And here we are, right back where we started. We've come full circle. Water nourishes wood. I mean, every single plant, every tree on this planet absolutely needs water to grow. Water gives life to wood, which then, of course, grows up to feed the fire. It's a perfect, self-sustaining loop of support.
So what on earth does this actually mean for you? It's actually pretty simple. The element that your element produces, that represents your creative output. It's what you naturally give to the world. And the element that produces you, that is your support system. That's the energy, the people, the resources that fuel you and help you grow.
But, life isn't all just gentle support and nourishment. We also need balance. We need regulation. And that brings us to the second major relationship, the cycle of control. Now, I know the word control can sound a little harsh, but try to think of it more like discipline or structure. It's the necessary force that keeps everything from spiraling out of, control.
This cycle starts with wood controlling earth. Just picture a tree's massive roots. They're powerful enough to break right through soil and even rock. They anchor the earth, they prevent erosion, but they also carve their own path. Wood is what manages and provides structure to the earth.
Next up, earth controls water. And the best way to think about this is a dam holding back a massive river, or even just the banks of a stream that channel the flow. Earth provides the boundaries, it gives water direction, and stops it from becoming a destructive, chaotic flood.
And then we have this classic showdown. Water controls fire. A bucket of water on a campfire? Poof, it's out. It's the ultimate check on fire's explosive, boundless energy, preventing it from just consuming everything in its path. This is regulation in its most primal, direct form.
From there, fire controls metal. Think about it. Even the strongest steel will bend and melt if the heat is intense enough. This is the blacksmith using fire to forge a sword from a lump of ore. Fire has the power to completely reshape, refine, and transform metal.
And to complete this second cycle, we have metal controlling wood. An axe can fell a huge tree. A saw can shape a log into lumber. Metal provides that sharp focus and precision needed to prune and manage wood's growth, turning a wild forest into something structured and useful.
So here's the big aha moment. Both of these cycles are constantly happening inside you. The support cycle is all about your creativity and who supports you. The control cycle is about what you can master and manage, but also about the challenges that give your life discipline and structure. You absolutely need both to be a whole functioning person. Okay, so now we get the rules of the dance. Let's move from theory to practice. Is your own personal chart a harmonious team,
Or do you have one element that's kind of running the whole show? Let's figure out how you can start to read your own elemental story.
First, a quick definition you're going to need. We call it elemental dominance when you've got 3 or more of a single element in your chart. And on the other side of that coin, if you have 0 or only 1 of an element, we consider that element to be weak. And here's the thing, a perfectly balanced chart is incredibly rare. Most of us are specialists in some way.
You know, the best way to really wrap your head around this is just to see it in action. Every chart tells a unique story. So let's take a look at a real-world case study to see what a specialized, not imbalanced, but specialized chart actually looks like.
All right, take a look at this chart. What's the very first thing that jumps out at you? It's that huge blue slice, right? That represents water. This person has 4 parts water, which makes it their dominant powerhouse element. And notice how tiny that little sliver of red is. They have very little fire, and that's a huge piece of their story.
So what does this tell us about this person? Well, all that water energy makes them an incredible strategist. They're wise, they're reflective, a really deep thinker. But, and here's the challenge, that lack of fire means they can get stuck in their own head. It can lead to overthinking, analysis paralysis, a real need for more action. So they'd be a natural at research or counseling, but maybe not so much a high-pressure, fast-moving sales job. See how that works?
And this, right here, might be the most important takeaway from this whole explainer. An imbalanced chart is not a bad chart. It's a specialized chart. It means you have a superpower. And on the flip side, a balanced chart isn't automatically good. It just means it's versatile. It's a generalist. Neither one is better than the other. They're just completely different ways of moving through the world. So now you get the dance of support and control. You know how to spot a chart that has a specialty. But we've only been looking at the total count of your elements. What if I told you that wasn't the whole story? What if the elements in your year pillar told a completely different story than the ones in your day pillar? What if your life has a timeline? Well, that is exactly what we are going to dive into next time.